Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to Retro Time, and I'm Jay, and we'll be talking about the news for today in gaming. So let's get into that. Alright. Um, and alright, so we are already on here, so I lost my train of thought for a second. Alright, so I forgot to drop the full screen down too. I'm like rushing through things. Alright, so this first article is Xbox boss. I hate when I drink coffee. I get hiccups like right afterwards for some reason, like hiccups, burps, things like that. I don't know why. Xbox boss Phil Spencer is open to breaking the seal on some forgotten games if team. So we come in here and read the rest of it. If teams want to go back and revisit some games, um, I'm gonna be all in. So there are talks about revisiting a lot of games. Because I brought this up that we end up losing a lot of games along the way, and I made a video, and it was on my other channel before it got disappeared. So I'm gonna be talking about that quite a bit before I get over that, because there's a lot of stuff on it that just up and gone, disappeared. I don't know what happened to it, but yeah. So basically, I was bringing up the subject about how like we're missing Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, um, just a whole bunch of characters that nobody's really talking about anymore. And if there is, it's very a small amount. Like it's very, very forgotten stuff. And part of me is part of me thinks it's because there's so many like general games out right now that we see that kind of stuff just disappear into history because there's so many games along the way. Like PlayStation's one of those companies that just forgets about some of their games, and that's why before the last channel went down, I made that video about like, well, what happened to all these video games that we apparently had at one point, like Sly Cooper, Jack and Dexter, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, couple others to name a few, but um honestly, I don't know what happened to them, and that's why I like this idea of them revisiting old games that we no longer like see anymore. It's a great idea, to be honest. So, all right. Whether you think Microsoft's recent acquisition of Activision Blizzard is more towards a dry gaming monopoly or a financial windfall for Activision Blizzard, games both uh, Activision Blizzard's games both, it's definitely happened. The UK CMA has given a thumbs up to Kotick's on his way out. The deal's closed, and now we get to see the impact ripples spread. It looks like there's already some great news for fans of Activision Blizzard's old catalog, as confirmed by Xbox boss Phil Spencer himself in an official interview on the Xbox channel. I do think with Game Pass that we have the ability to pick up a couple franchises every year and almost do like a revisited version. I just made up that term. When you look across the franchises that are part of our teams, there's an opportunity to go back. And yeah, I hope they do. There's a really huge catalog to cover two of games' biggest companies merging for the second time with Microsoft. That's that's miles of fertile ground to or dig up for remakes and remasters. Still, Spencer insists not keen on cash grabs. I want to make sure that when we go back and visit something that we do it with a complete ability not to create something for financial gain or a PR announcement and not deliver. Ultimately, while he's got his own wish list, the return of first-person shooter classic Hexen is a running gag. Spencer says it's important for the fresh coats of paint to be a result of developer passion. If teams want to go back and revisit some of the things we have and do a full focus on it, I'm going to be all in. I think there's an amazing trove of games we can go and touch on again. I think about I think about things like the Quake 2 remaster that just came in out from ID Software. I thought that was awesome. They did a real good job revisiting a game, making it current but not leaving its history behind. I'd love to see more things like that. These are all plans for the future, though. Spencer says it's likely we won't be seeing Activision Blizzard's catalog coming to Game Pass this year. The truth of the matter is, with Activision Blizzard King, that is the regular process. That is that the regulatory process took so long. We weren't able to get back in and work with Activision Blizzard on the back catalog. Now that the deal is closed, we were starting that work, but there is work. So yeah, yeah, I think this is a good idea. He wants to revisit games, and I think that's what they should do with this. Because when you look at Activision Blizzard's like list of games that they have now, they have a really massive amount of games, and you know, just revisit a lot of them and see what happens. I think my opinion is I think PlayStation also needs to what PlayStation needs to do in this scenario and situation is just move on from Call of Duty at this point and stop holding on to things they once had because now it's all gone, and move on and find something else related to like Call of Duty in the next 10 years. That gives PlayStation enough freaking time to sit down and look at the mechanics of Call of Duty and then turn around and create something very much similar to Call of Duty, like kind of like almost a mirrored version of Call of Duty. Just build your own form of Call of Duty, tweak some things, change things up, and you can create your own Call of Duty. Sony isn't thinking like this. Sony should have thought about this like a while back, because at some point in time you should realize that well, I guess they didn't know. I guess the idea wasn't a big thing at the time. Hold on, I just saw something. I want to see something. I just saw a notification come up. I'm going to check it. Give me a second. No, I can't check it there. Alright, I'll have to go over to my laptop over here and check it. Alright. 1 second, guys. Checking something. Oh, that's what it is. I have to comment to that. That's kind of funny what that is. I don't know what that. Somebody commented on a video I commented on, and he just put a bunch of like random rockets, like rocket ships and all that. I'm like, okay. All right. The unwanted undead adventure release date seems revealed. Yeah, I'm not gonna read that because that's anime. I don't really watch anime anymore, unfortunately. Um, I don't know. Maybe I should check and see if there's anything out there I'm interested in. I get okay. So my thing about anime, I have this like problem with it for a lot of reasons. One, back in the day, anime used to never be as popular as it is, and I think that's why I shied away from like watching any anime because now it's just like everybody, and I don't have a problem with anybody watching it. It's one of those things that like there's uh there's um there's a lot of people watching anime, and it's become like that in thing for a lot of people. And I understand it's a trend. Like trends just revolve around. This hat right here, this hat I'm wearing, it used to be a trend back when I was growing up, and now I finally got one. And now, who knows? Like these hats could come back in style at any point in time again. What I'm saying is trends are revolving. They'll be popular for a while, and then they'll die off, and then a couple years later they'll come back in again, and it'll be the end thing. Um, but I'm not really watching anime right now because I ran into too many people watching anime. I think is what it is, and it just really like made me shy away from it because you'll get those people watching anime that are just like over the top, like they're over the top excited to watch anime, and that's fine. I completely understand that, but like at the end of the day, when something becomes like super huge, I'm not normally a fan of it because I know what it consists of. It consists of like everybody trying to be a part of that like little trend that's going on because that's just the way it is. Like there's some things that I just find completely overrated. Like I'll admit Spider-Man 2. Everybody was hyped for that. I'm gonna break it down for you, okay? I wasn't hyped for Spider-Man 2. I didn't give a damn about Spider-Man 2. Let me explain why. Because Spider-Man 2, alright, there was a better Spider-Man game back in the day called Spider-Man 2. And those were the original, like, they came out on the Xbox, the original Xbox, and I think the PlayStation at the time. And they were the best Spider-Man games I've ever played in my entire life. They were open world. You went around, fought a bunch of guys, you swung around the city. You didn't go inside buildings, of course, but you swung around the city and you took action against the bad guys and all that, and you did basic Spider-Man stuff. You went on missions, all that. That's when Spider-Man was actually good. What we have now is just a spin-off of the movie, and I don't like the idea of it. That's why I haven't been excited for it. And that's what they need to do is they need to revive that trilogy. In fact, Xbox needs to revive that and let that be Xbox's game, and then go into another Spider-Man game after that. Build off of that game because that game had potential, like so much freaking potential. All right, Microsoft takes its marketing to the next level. And with that said, that's why I'm very selective about a lot of things I do. Like you see that I like a lot of things that most people won't normally like, and I don't usually follow trends. So if you see me following a trend, it's because I really, really have to like it. But right now, like Super Mario Wonder, for instance, I didn't hop on board with that right away, but I do want to play it. And it's like, even with PCs, I did PCs before they were a trend. I was watching Linus Tech Tips one day, and somebody mentioned to me about building a PC a little while down the road. So I saved up, built the PC I'm running from, and then, it wasn't because of a trend. It was because it was a thing that I wanted to, experience in my life. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. And then I had a lot of fun with it. And then it all of a sudden just became a thing. And then you can hear it in people's voices when you ask them what game they play, what platform they play on. And when people do it in this example of like they brag about playing on a certain console. It's so annoying. It's so annoying to hear somebody be like, pretend that something is better than something else. We're all playing games. We're all a bunch of gamers here. Enjoy your time. But stop bragging and making your console seem like it's the better one. And I don't understand that mentality. And it pisses me off when people do that. But it's an example of like, it's an example of what we have in society where everybody's just doing something and they take way too much pride in stuff, and then they turn around and make it into this like they make it into this ultimate like I do this, so therefore I am a great person because I'm doing this kind of personality. and it becomes something else. I don't know. I just disagree with a lot of it. Like like for me, I played Cyberpunk and I'm still working on playing a lot of like other games also, but like I want to play the Cyberpunk DLC. Now, now I remember back when Cyberpunk finally got finally got to where it is now. And it was really one of those things that like it was really one of those things that like a lot of people hated, and I played it and I talked about it, and there were a lot of people still saying they hated it, they didn't like it, or some. And when I talked about it at one point, somebody was like, "I thought everybody hated that game." I was like, "I didn't know that because I'm not following a trend, you know." So that's my thing. When you're always following trends, you know what exactly is going on. You tend to care way too much. But when you're not following trends, you don't really know what's going on. You're not in a know, and then therefore you don't really know what's going on at all. So therefore you really can't just sit there and be like, you can't sit there and it's just weird what people do. People are weird. Human beings are a weird breed of uh yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but human beings can be weird sometimes. Very, very weird, and sometimes can't make their own decisions, and that's really weird that we're like that right now. Like I like me like if if I was to meet somebody more that's why I follow a lot of video gaming, because we're all a unique breed of people that just we're not trying to fit in with those trends. And there's a lot of people outside of video gaming that, as I looked at it, they're all following the same trend. Then that's how you can always tell if somebody is being themselves or not. They'll follow a trend. And as for me, you'll see me stick out like a sore thumb, and I'm the only one I know that like actually really likes, you know, really has a taste for like different things. And what I mean by that is like, you know, I'll dress like this the one day, and then I'll turn around and dress really, really classy with looking better and all that. And it just depends on what day it is. It just really goes to show you that not everybody is like willing to do the same thing. And that's what I've been trying to get. But everybody has that mixed up also with like things like sexuality and stuff like that. And it just gets really weird how that can lead into some sort of thought where it's about sexuality when it's really not about sexuality. It's about your personality and who the hell you are instead of your sexuality. People are inadequately stupid with that shit, by the way. I think really what it comes down to is people when people can't think for themselves, or people don't know what having like a unique hobby is or something like that, they fall into these trends, and then they end up like being deeply involved in stuff that is just really, really not supposed to be. You're not supposed to be in, you know, you're supposed to. You're supposed to have hobbies in life. You're supposed to be a little bit different in life. You're supposed to not be like the next person in life. And what it comes down to is, are you doing for you in life, or are you doing for somebody else in life? You have to think about that this way. And sometimes it's best to cut yourself off from everything going on the internet, or listen to something, or revive, go back into a time frame and learn a little bit about yourself, because I can tell you a lot about myself right now. But I rambled on about this. Let's get into this. So this article is Microsoft takes its marketing to the next level. Microsoft has launched a new Xbox marketing campaign, beginning with a live-action trailer and a cameo on Las Vegas Sphere. The debut of the company's new advertising scheme seems timed perfectly to coincide with the completion of a long-pending Activision Blizzard acquisition, which finally closed on October 13th. The beginning of October marks a new era for Xbox, as Microsoft has now officially acquired Activision Blizzard King, and the company is expected to begin expanding into the mobile gaming space in earnest. In a recent interview on Xbox official podcast, Phil Spencer explained that the decision to buy the gaming conglomerate originally stemmed from a desire to recognize a desire and recognized need to move into mobile for the brand to continue to grow. Perhaps in celebration of this new phase of Xbox, or maybe just as coincidence, Microsoft has started a new marketing campaign that, according to insider Tom Warner, will run through the holidays. Themed Power Your Dreams. The campaign kicked off with a 3-minute video that showcased some of the more recognizable and anticipated games on Xbox, including the upcoming first-party title, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, Forza Motorsports, Cyberpunk 2077, and of course, Starfield. I would watch it, but it's on YouTube, so I could get copyright struck. That's why I don't watch. Alright, so YouTube's a very, very picky place. And let me explain a little bit of something about that. We'll go, okay, so we're going to talk about why I'm not watching that video, and we're going to talk more about why there are things on a platform that I find extremely weird that they do, and they don't do. So, on Xbox, on October 19th, Xbox also debuted on the Las Vegas Sphere, which is perfectly suited to display the icon round X logo, like a Power Your Dreams trailer. The 1-minute showcase shined the spotlight on the same 4 games as well as the current lineup of Xbox Series consoles. For many gamers in Las Vegas area, it was undoubtedly a thrilling sight on a Thursday evening. See, now I could watch this. Here, let's take a little bit look. This is pretty cool. I watched some of this yesterday. Yeah, there's Starfield. And they even put it look like it's popping out too. I gotta play 1. I have 1 downloaded. I might actually end up playing that one because this game's coming out soon. I got 1 for like really cheap. Forza Motorsports. And Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, I have Hellblade. Hellblade 1 in my Steam account. I gotta re-download it though. Yeah, that looks really cool. That's pretty cool. Just imagine like being down in this area, like you saw that car passing. Just imagine being down there and seeing that whole thing up close. Like how crazy that's gotta look. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to an IMAX theater, but when you go to an IMAX theater, you're consistently looking up, and it actually hurts your neck after looking at the screen. So that's why, like, in the theater, they give you these comfortable seats to kind of, like, lean back on. And I guess you prop your head up against one, but, like, the big IMAX screens are huge. Like, I haven't been to the theaters in ages, but I'll eventually get back to, like, going to theaters and all that at some point. I'm just not a moviegoer. The only time I will go see a movie is, like, if I go on a date with a girl and we want to go out, I'll be like, okay, we'll go see a movie or something like that. And, yeah, I just don't go see movies. I don't go see movies anymore. In fact, the last one I went to see was Mario Bros. Movie in the theaters, and I did a, like, really quick review on that one, and that's gone, too. So, maybe, I mean, if Nintendo were to bring another movie out, I definitely would run to the theaters and see that, but beyond that, I'm not going to go to the theaters and really see much. You know, there's not much going on in the theaters now that I am really being like, oh my god, I really need to see that. So, many people are excited to see what comes out of Xbox now that the Activision Blizzard deal has finally closed after a regulatory process that lasted 20 months. In the aforementioned podcast, Xbox Phil Spencer reiterated that Call of Duty titles will not become Xbox exclusive. In fact, it may take a while for any ABK released to come to Xbox Game Pass simply due to the logistics of merging so many new teams under the Xbox umbrella. The uncertain status of the deal meant that until October, steps weren't taken to bring the Activision Blizzard catalog to subscription services in the long term. Though Xbox Game Pass subscribers can expect exciting new games to be added to the lineup, and Spencer even listed a number of ABK franchises that deserve to be taken off the shelf and revisited. All right. Ooh, I gotta listen to this. What is the song? Oh, we're gonna read this because I did listen to them at one point, and with the fact they have a new song about this, I gotta go jam out to this, man. I kind of want to go listen to this right now, but we'll wait. I'm gonna wait till I'm off here. I'm gonna look this up. All right. Metal band Dragon Force releases song about the Legend of Zelda. Man, I can't wait to hear this. Metal group Dragon Force has released new track based on Legend of Zelda series. Many bands have made music inspired by various video games franchises, showing that the impact that the medium has had on our society. Video game music and metal genre have crossed many times, showing that two can go hand in hand. Yes, in fact, that's why I liked metal music. It goes hand in hand with what the video game industry is about. When it comes to anything at all related to music and video games, you're always going to see metal and video games collab with each other because those are two that worked well and perfect. Like if somebody were to, like if you listen to the Mega Man franchise, okay, you listen to the Mega Man franchise get theme songs, then you turn around and you look for the metal version of it. Now, most of the metal versions don't have lyrics in it, but if you turn around and you always end up listening to the digitized version and then you turn around and listen to a metal version, you get an appreciation more for that song. You know, even though it is originally digitized, you get a better appreciation for that song in the video game too. So, one group has done so. One group that has done so is the popular power metal band Dragon Force, which is famous for Guitar Acrobats. The band is also known for featured in Guitar Hero series with one of the hardest songs to play in the game. Yeah, that song is amazing, though. I love that song. I might actually listen to that on today too. Through the Fire and the Flames. The group has touched a number of different franchises in their lyrics, with their latest song being based on the Legend of Zelda series. That's there's a lot of people that I know wrote songs about this, but you can only do so much in like a lot of bands don't really they can do it, but they do it with the sound of Legend of Zelda in the background. Now, I'm curious as to what this one's going to sound like because a lot of people usually, when they make a Zelda song, they make it very sounding like Zelda to the game, and that's what I'm curious about this. Dragon Force has dropped a track entitled Power to the Triforce, a metal piece taking many cues from Legend of Zelda games. So, I'm going to look this up on YouTube. I'm not going to listen to it, but I'm going to listen to this on my free time. And that's going to be... Alright, so I'll listen to this later on today. But I'm going to advertise this. That they actually freaking made this song. Alright. Alright. Power to the Triforce, a metal piece taking many cues from Legend of Zelda games. The song will feature heavy riffs and blistering guitar solos that the group is known for, but the lyrics will catch attention of fans of the Nintendo RPG series. These lyrics point to an aspect of franchises such as Master Sword and Zelda Villain Ganon. The music video for Power of the Triforce also alludes to the video games as it shows the band members trying to pull a sword out of a stone. This is wild. I like this. Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna actually share this off. So last year, Dragon Force released a song based on Dragonborn Skyrim entitled "The Last Dragonborn." The band is known to enjoy video games, with guitarist Herman Lee streaming himself playing titles such as StarCraft and Among Us. He is one of the number. He is number. He is one of a number of rock metal musicians to show their love for the hobby, helping to spread popularity influence into different parts of our society. Video games have taken such a cue from metal music as well. A number of titles have featured the genre in their soundtracks, turning up the energy for players as they make their way through the game. Titles such as Brutal Legend, Quake, and Twisted Metal have all featured rock and metal tracks, which all fit the themes and settings seen in them. The Doom Eternal soundtrack was one of the latest to the channel. The intensity and energy of the genre, leading with the powerful track, "The Only Thing They Fear Is You." It helps you. It helps show that metal and video games go well together, as they can both pump up fans and hand out amazing experiences. So yeah, that's one thing I will say is that these bands, all metal music, again, it's one of those types of musics that I always end up choosing. Besides punk music, I always end up choosing metal and punk over anything else because it's better. It tells a better story than most music in general. That's wild. All right, let's see what's going on in here. I wasn't. People are weird on the internet. I don't know who that person is, but they keep saying I was liking all their stuff, and I'm not even liking all their stuff. People are so like people are so strange on the internet. Like, I'm not sitting there intentionally liking all your stuff. I like what you have to say because what you have to say is normally just unique. All right? If you have something unique to say, I appreciate you as a human being. And to go out of your way and tell me that you tell me that you unfollowed me and stuff, you're being a jerk. Okay? You're being a genuine jerk. I'm not like I genuinely wasn't trying to like all your stuff. I don't know why people get just assume that about me, but people are weird like that. Like I'm busy half the time. So to get mad at me for liking everything you do is just you don't like that you're a human being then. You don't like anything about you. And that's what I find extremely funny about this situation. I didn't like anything this person did, even though they were being over they were being a little bit extreme about it. But that's just perfectly fine. To go out of your way and just tell me I'm a bad human being because I liked all your stuff. Fine, I don't care. But that's completely on you. I'm not mad at the person. They can think that all they want, but I was not intentionally trying it, and they've even removed me from their followers because they have this idea in their head that I am like obsessed with them or something when it's not even true. Not true. You know, that's fine. Fine and dandy. Do what you want. I don't get people on the internet. They have like this thing about themselves where like, just acting. Let me see what they said. Let's see if they did say anything else. Yeah, people are just, yeah, they didn't send anything back, but yeah, that's a narcissistic way of thinking. Is like you like everything I did, so you're gonna have me unfollow you because you're just, I was just agreeing with half the stuff you say. If you can't take appreciation that you're a human being, that's fine on you. I'm not gonna be upset that you made me unfollow you. But that's kind of sad that somebody can't agree with you on the internet. It's gotten weird, man. The internet's kind of weird, and the fact that you can't even just agree with people is just a bit strange. But that is what it is. It really is what it is. And, I don't know what their purpose was. They're like, oh, I'm online to communicate with people. Okay, so you're also online. You got to remember, you're also online for people to like your stuff. And if they like what you say, they're gonna agree with you. That's just how it all goes. But to feel that way about something says a lot about you as a human being. One, to get mad at somebody liking your stuff consistently proves that you do not care nor like who you are as a human being. And if you feel like it's weird what somebody's doing on the internet, then why the hell are you saying stuff that people agree with? If people agree with everything you say, what the fuck are you getting mad about? But I don't know. It could have been anything. People are weird. People are weird. You can like their stuff, but then if you like it too much, they get weirded out by it. Or like I don't know if they were just weirded out by it, but they need to learn a little bit something about having a personality that people appreciate. Okay, that's the one thing. If you're on the internet, if you're having a personality that people appreciate, instead of having them unfollow you because you think, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't really say. Um, Getting mad at me and then taking me off your followers and stuff like that. That's something else, man. That's something completely else. Like I don't know if that says something about you as a person, or you don't have this like personality, or what it is, and you're just making up a personality for yourself, or you just don't like something about you. That's fine. I'm not gonna sit there and get on any case with it. But it's kind of weird that anybody is even like that. I never found myself being taken off of somebody's followers list for like actually liking stuff they like. Like that's kind of strange. It's kind of strange, but that is what it is. Somebody's always trying to do something that doesn't make sense to me, and then it's because they're bothered by something. They're bothered by something that you're doing, and you're not doing anything that's actually bothering them. That's what that means. It's amazing. It's amazing that there are people that are actually like that. That's all I'm saying, and it doesn't make sense. All right, all right. Let's see. It's like you're not gonna mess up somebody's day because you just took me off your follow list. I don't even know you. You've been hiding who you are, and for all I know, you could be somebody like doing from YouTube and just like having a personality that's really agreeable with somebody and just somehow have a problem with it. It's kind of weird. NVIDIA expands DLSS 3 support to include even more games. All right. So, NVIDIA has announced that DLSS support is coming to Naraka, Blade Point, Slender. The arrival of Warhammer Vermintide to DLSS Deep Learning Supersampling is a proprietary AI powered technology for NVIDIA that enhances image quality and improves game performance. DLSS. What's going on here? Did my laptop disconnect? My laptop disconnected. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So, all right. NVIDIA has announced, okay, let's go back to the beginning. NVIDIA has announced that DLSS 3 support is coming to Newark Point Blade Slender. The arrival of Warhammer Verminted to DLSS Deep Learning Super Sampling is a proprietary AI-powered technology from NVIDIA that enhances image quality and improves game performance. DLSS has the power to boost frame rates by up to 4 times, making a quite noticeable difference in performance overall visual. DLSS 3 launched a title over a year ago that immediately improved performance for dozens of games. Recently, NVIDIA announced DLSS 3.5 for RTX GPUs, promising an even bigger performance boost, but support is still limited at the moment at launch. DLSS was offered for over 35 games and apps. The number has since grown, and NVIDIA looks to add a few more games to the list through new updates. NVIDIA has announced that the support of DLSS 3 is coming to Newark Point Blade Slender. The arrival of Warhammer. Did I just read this? Because it looks like that's the same. Looks like that's the same. Alright, now. NVIDIA has announced the support of DLSS 3 for DLSS 3 is coming to Newark Point Blade Slender. The arrival of Warhammer Verminted to via an update. NVIDIA released a short comparison video of Newark Point Blade running both with and without DLSS enabled, revealing first-person shooter more than double with the updates. DLSS 3 is being added to Slender the arrival via their 10th anniversary update, which is multiplying performance by 2.8x on average at 4K, according to NVIDIA. Meanwhile, NVIDIA also announced that Warhammer Verminted 2 is now supporting DLSS 3. Newark Point Blade is an up to 60-player melee-focused battle royale title developed by 24 Entertainment. Conversely, Slender the Arrival is a first-person horror game set in the Slender Man universe, and it is currently celebrating its 10th anniversary. Finally, Warhammer Verminted 2 is first-person shooter action game set in Warhammer Fantasy universe. Warhammer 40K already supported DLSS 3 at launch, and now the technology is being offered for the franchise's 2018 release. I totally forgot this game existed. Yeah. Those things are so expensive. I wish I had money to fork out for something like this. Like, I don't know. I feel like, a lot of people, when they buy stuff like that, they've saved up a little bit while, or you just have a really freaking great job that pays you, like, stacks and stacks of money. Sometimes I don't even know how people get their money to afford their cars. And I'm like, I'm sitting here trying to pay my rent and all that, and I can't even buy a video game half the time, let alone buy a graphics card for like over $1,000. Like, I don't understand how people do that. Included in NVIDIA's announcement is the news Airport Sim and Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged are launching with DLSS, and support is coming to Land of the Vikings as it leaves early access again. This adds to the growing list of hundreds of games that currently support DLSS. It's not just PC titles. The rumored Nintendo Switch successor will also reportedly use DLSS. The much discussed next generation Nintendo hardware is in dire need of technical boost after the current iteration is falling far behind the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S in terms of raw power. That hasn't hurt sales, but many predict Nintendo will need to boost its tech to keep up in the coming generations. I just thought about something. That person that I'm talking about, the last thing I talked and commented on was was an article about Fall Out Boy, a band I've been listening to so frequently lately. And I don't know if that pissed them off because I put something in the comments uh that like they got triggered because they rewrote a song that was based on an old song, and I was like, oh, I kind of like what they're doing, even though they do some weird stuff sometimes. I kind of like what the band's doing. And after that, they came out of their way and went to my DMs and messaged me, and they said, "I'm taking you off the followers list because you're liking everything." Dude, I'm not doing that intentional. It's just you have a very, very common person. You have a very, very common personality that I can appreciate. Cause when you have a common personality like mine, and you have a very unique, different personality, you become appreciative of who that person is, and I don't know. This is the internet, man. This is a weird place to begin with. So, I'm just laughing because if you took me off your followers list all because of that, you're a really weird person. You're a really, really weird person. It's not like I disagreed with you on politics or anything like that. You disagreed with me on a fucking band. That's how sad that shit is. Spider-Man 2 dev comments on whether a Venom spin-off game could happen. On the eves of Spider-Man 2 release on PS5, the game's narrative director is discussing the potential of a Venom spin-off title. Alright, so they're already talking about doing a spin-off title of something else, which, I said it before and I'm going to say it again. PlayStation may own the rights to this game, but Disney owns the rights to Marvel, and Marvel owns Spider-Man. So, in the midst and background of all this, my question is where did they get the idea that they can just own titles like that? All right, so Spider-Man 2 hasn't even officially launched yet, and the game's narrative director is already being asked about a potential Venom spin-off. As seen in the game's various promotional material, Venom looks to play a major role in Spider-Man 2. The comic book character has had a solo adventure before in both the comics and film space, so it stands to reason the popular villain turned anti-hero could star in their own game. Spider-Man 2 stands as the highest rated game in the series thus far. So things already seem to be going well for PS5 exclusive. While early sales figures have yet to be sorted out, the game also could be a top seller. Both previous games in the franchise have eclipsed 33 million copies sold. All things considered, it appears as though Insomniac has a good grasp on the universe and looks to be able to mark whatever moves it wants moving forward, and fans will be on board perhaps. That also means a solo adventure for a fan favorite antagonist. In an interview with Insider, Spider-Man 2's senior narrative director, John Pickett, discussed the potential of Venom's spin-off game. When asked about the subject directly, Pickett played coy and said the team would see how fans react. This will, of course, come after the development team has some time to rest and take stock following the game's release. Perhaps any potential spin-off takes a backseat to Insomniac's next potentially more mature outing with the Wolverine. Pickett went on to talk about how the team took inspiration from all sorts of Venom stories in Marvel Comics, but then also went to create their own thing. Insomniac appears to have done a good job, as even Venom's co-creator praised the design. Insomniac appears to have nailed Venom Yeah. Did I, dude, that that right there, reading that, that's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. That was the most perverted statement in that article. And that's that's why I stopped. Because I was like, okay, did they really just say that? Dude, like I'm trying not to take that out of context, but boy, oh boy, it's very hard not to with the way that was said. But let's get back to that. Jesus, the whole sentence. That's all right. Hold on. I'm gonna like share this off because it's just like that's such a fucking oh man, like reading that whole thing and what that says just like makes me really laugh. All right, it gets worse as that sentence goes on. And let's take a look at it, okay? Insomniac appears to have nailed Venom, so it wouldn't be surprising to see the character receive its own Hawking adventure. That is a sentence that I probably would have never even put together. That is a sentence that I will never get over how like interesting that sentence is. Like I'll wake up. I'll probably at some point down the road just remember the sentence for no apparent reason at all, and get a kick out of it. So yeah, don't. There was a company the other day where a YouTuber was reading something from a an article, and it says something along the lines of like something like this, and it's just this like okay, okay. While Spider-Man 2 is tied for the highest rated Insomniac game of all time, each game thus far has been well received by both fans and critics. That, of course, includes Miles' solo game Spider-Man Miles Morales. Maybe Venom wouldn't even require his own game. Perhaps the next entry in a series could merely have players switching between Venom, Miles, and Peter at will, similar to how moving between Spider-Man works in a Spider-Man 2. That way, Venom could still get his own adventure inside the large Spider-Man 3 narrative. That said, however players decide to handle the character moving forward, it will likely attract the attention of the gaming community. What are they doing with this? What are they doing with this? Okay, this is not. This is insane. All right. Why are you taking a villain in Spider-Man and making him playable with the two other Spider-Man type Spider-Man? All right. Isn't Venom supposed to be a bad guy here? Now, I know in the Venom comics, Venom actually plays as a good guy because he goes against Carnage at some point. But my thing about this is they're making the villain into the bad guy. This is why I'm not playing these games right now, because what you're doing is you're taking the bad part of the comic, the bad guy, and turning him around to be the good guy. All right. I don't like this idea. I don't like the idea that they're even remotely deciding to take him and make him into a good guy here, because that's not what Venom does. Venom is supposed to be a bad guy in the Spider-Man universe, unless you're reading his comic. Then you have a whole different side of Venom, but it's just getting weird. The comic universe is like so strange right now. It doesn't even make sense that it doesn't even make sense. It's not what it was when it first started. All right. And that's why I stopped watching these Marvel Universe movies, because they took it and they changed it to something it's not. I'm going to end it right here because I don't have much time to be reading much more. So you read a lot of good stuff today, but I'm going to keep talking about this because how I feel about what they're doing with these comic book, what's the word I'm looking for? How I feel about what they're doing about it with all this, it just doesn't make sense. I'm not appreciative of like seeing like Venom be turned into this good guy and glorifying him as the good guy. He was always supposed to be the bad guy. The bad guy is never supposed to be the good guy, no matter what. In the comic book universe, Stan Lee made it that way for a reason. And we're going and we're taking Stan Lee's property and just changing that damn thing. And we're changing it to a point where it's just become something extremely different than what it was when it first got invented. And I don't know what the reasoning for this is. I think it's all stupid. It's just like, you know, how like in real life, I've seen the bad guy. In real life, I've seen bad people get a lot of good things and get more respect than the people trying to do the right thing. And that's why I think this is a dumb idea to make somebody like Venom, who's originally a villain, into this like good guy. Why would you, unless you're gonna make another story where you're directing him as a villain? That's understandable. This should have been this should not be this you know, if you're gonna do a spin-off, leave it at that. Why are you gonna make Venom, the bad guy of Spider-Man, into a good guy? All right, and in Batman, you know, they do make the Joker, and once in a while, and they make Bane into a neutral character where he's helping Batman out. But at the end of the day, those two are always going to remain as villains, no matter what. Doesn't matter how good they do, they're always the villain of the show. They do help Batman from time to time try to turn things around. But when it comes down to it, they'll always remain the villain, because after they help Batman, what do? They do something really bad. It's like wrestling, where you see the bad guy helping the good guy, and then the bad guy automatically turns on the good guy at the end, and just, you see that a lot. But I have this problem where people are trying to make the bad guy into the good guy, and then trying to make the good guy into the bad guy. A really weird way of doing a story. And we see, and ever since Disney brought this whole thing out about, like, they made their villains the characters that everybody's supposed to like, that's when the whole, like, industry changed, and the good guy, and Nintendo never does this. Nintendo has never been known to make the bad guy into the good guy. Hence, Legend of Zelda. Ganon is never the good guy. Ganon will help out, but Ganon is never the good guy. Super Mario. Bowser helps, but is never the good guy. Never the good guy like that. He's always the neutral guy. You're always going to get that. But when you take somebody like Venom and give him his own story and then put him alongside the other Spider-Man, there's something wrong with that storyline right there. There's something wrong with that storyline. I don't know. I just don't like it. I think they need to chill on doing what they're doing with the storyline. And that's just my opinions, my thoughts. But hey, it's just how I feel. This is my opinion. I'm not going to make Sony's decision because I don't work for Sony. But we could potentially see Venom become the good guy and stop being the bad guy now. And then, you know, who knows what that even means. But anyway, I'm done for the day. If y'all enjoyed this, hit that like button. If you're watching it later in the day, thank you for watching it later on in the day. I'll be back on Monday. I got, you know, over the weekend, I'm going to produce videos for you guys, put them up here, and hopefully enjoy what I put out. But until then, guys, please subscribe to the channel, and I'm out of here, and I'll see you Monday. Keep on gaming, gamers.